Hallå ja! Hi and welcome to episode 30! Ah! That's amazing! Today is Friday the 6th of March 2015 and I'm Maja. You can find me as sjomajlin on Ravelry and Instagram and on YouTube. And I just found a hole in my jeans. Hi. It's almost lunchtime here. I thought I had a gig this morning, so I drove like half an hour away, like on the freeway. And when I arrived there, my colleague wasn't there, so I was like, what's up? So I checked my mailbox and he had called me after I left and was like, I'm sick, we have to cancel. So I was like, okay. So I just turned around and drove home and was like, well, now I have time to record in daylight. But it was a bit weird. But here I am. It's been a good week. Oops, there was a wall. It's been a good week. What have I done? Yes, on Monday we started. I've talked very briefly about this, but I do sing in a choir. And I love singing in a choir. And we used to have the most awesome choir leader. What do you say? It's not really a conductor, but like the musical leader. And he had worked, it's in a church, and he had worked there for almost 20 years. I've not been in the choir for that long, but he's been there for a very long time. And so he told us in November, I think, that he had quit his job and started another job. Which was very sad, but I understand that he needed something else, a change. And in the meantime, and I'm making my tea over here, they had difficulty finding someone to fill in for him at first, or, directly. But this week we started again with the choir, with our new leader, and it was a bit, well, not nervous, but somewhere, in between. I was nervous and curious. And all the sneezes. And I'm guessing that the new leader, Jonas, was nervous as well. But it was really good. And I had a really good time, and I think it's gonna be awesome. So that really made my week already on Monday, so that's good. Other than that, it's been a pretty normal week. Yesterday, on Thursday, we had a very sunny morning, and I started after lunch, so I sat out in the sun knitting all morning, and it was amazing. It was cold. It was just a couple degrees above freezing, but it was awesome in the sun. And it seems like the sun is trying to break through the clouds today as well, so you might see some changing in the lighting in here. Even though the window is facing north, it's you'll probably see. Anyway, and I had some good knitting time this week. I have a finished object and one almost half object, and almost another, but I did finish the Lattice sweater. The Lattice sweater! Yay! Lattice sweater by Bricks plus Wool. It's available on Ravelry. It's a paid-for pattern, gifted to me by the lovely James of the Dancing Geek podcast. Thank you once again, James. I made this out of the same that I've told you a couple of times now. Drops Fable, a brown colorway for the main body. This is colorway number 300. Exciting, huh? And then some different colors for the yoke. If you are interested, I can tell you, but get in touch with me if so. It's a rounded yoke sweater, knitted top down. So the fun of the yoke comes first. There are some short rows in the neck, which I really like. I made the arms very long. Can you see down at my body that the sleeves are much longer than the body, and that's how I like it. Like the sleeves to be, you know, go up on my hands, and also I can roll them up and they are still long. I knit the body of the sweater, or the stockinette, on size 3mm needles, and the ribbing on 2.5s. I used some different needles with different circumferences of the sweater, and I knit the the narrowest parts of the arms, or the sleeves, I knit on DPNs, and then some different circulars. Is there anything else you need to know about the sweater? I finished it, I don't know, a day this week. I started it just before New Year, so it took me, well, about 2 months. And I'm very happy with it. And I really like it. So yay! I want to sew in one of my handmade by Maya labels in the back of it as well. I haven't done that yet. But all the ends are woven in. I posted a picture to Instagram of all the ends in the colorwork that I had to weave in. And I honestly thought that was gonna take me a really long time to do. But I just sat down and did it, and it was done really quickly actually. And then I soaked it, and it smells delicious from the soak that I got. It's unbranded or unnamed. I got it in like a yard sale type thing, where a woman had a little hut where she had a lot of wool and wool products and some wool wash, and it smells very florally and it's amazing. So yay. And one of the things that I'm really taking with me from this project, other than the sweater of course, was that I learned the outline stitch bind off, which is a new to me bind off. I've talked about this before. It's a sewn bind off, and it's I did it on the sleeves as well. I showed you it on the body. I did it, well, here is ribbing. So it flares a tiny little bit, but it's also super stretchy. It's as stretchy as the ribbing, and some of the stretchier bind offs makes for a very flary bind off, but this is really good. It takes some time, but to do it, but I enjoy it. So yay! And as I said, I worked on that for almost 2 months, or just over 2 months, a couple of days over 2 months. So it's a long-term project that it's done. I haven't worn it yet, other than to just try it on. I'm trying to decide, because it's kind of thin. It's not a thick woolen sweater, but I'm trying to get a feel for if it's a warm sweater or if it's a okay indoor sweater, because I don't want to be, you know, sweating in it, making it all sweaty the first time I wear it. So that is my finished object. And then I said I have almost a whole half object. I had started the skew sock last week, and I've done most of it, and it's kind of hard to show you because the skew sock is just weird. I love it, but it's weird, but you can almost see that it's a foot shape. So this is the left sock. These are, you make the right and the left sock differently, or they are mirrored. So I've just started some ribbing here at the top, so I'm doing some more ribbing before I bind this off, but it's almost an FO. No, HO, half object. I'm knitting this magic loop, which I've also talked about, on size 2mm, and I didn't check this. It's addies, and I said last time, I think, that I didn't know if they were addies or if they were laces. I think it's lace, but I'm not sure. Maybe all of the thinner ones are lace though, might be. I'm not sure. And I've talked about that. I'm not a big fan of magic loop, but I wanted to try it since even if you have the same number of stitches here and you knit on the bias, you sort of move the stitches around, and it's pretty fiddly to do that on DPNs. So I tried it on magic loop, and it worked out really, really good. I'm still not a huge fan of pulling on the cable, which I think is what you do most of the time when you're knitting magic loop. But it works out good. So a couple of more rounds of ribbing and then bind this off and then start the right sock. And the yarn is Bärengarne Strumpfgarn Tom Cotton. It's a German sock yarn with 48% bamwolle cotton, 39% superwash wool and 13% polyamide in these very, I think, springy colors that knits up in thin stripes. Yeah, I like it. So I've been working on that quite a lot because I really enjoyed it. And then I am working on the Katniss cowl. I believe I had cast this on last time. Sorry. I've done, so you do a front piece and a back piece. So I did the front piece, I don't know, some time ago. So that's done. And back then I said this is almost a half object. And this is almost a half object as well, but I'm not done yet. So I need to knit a little bit more on this. So this is for the back, and then I'm gonna attach like the shoulder seams and then also the underarm seam in the one side, and then I'm gonna pick up stitches around and do some sort of neck. So I have some left to do. So it's not, I mean, a half and a half should make a whole, but it's not in this case. So I have, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows plus a bind off row left on this piece, and then putting them together and then doing the neck of it. So I'm guessing that this will be done by next week, but I'm not promising to hold myself to that, but I think so. And this is so insanely soft. This is a Shetland Deluxe yarn out of 50% new wool, 25% baby alpaca and 25% mohair. And it's so insanely soft, and that is what it's called. I tried to pronounce this and I'm really not sure. And it's just amazing. And it's black, so I'm knitting on this mostly in daytime. I'm still young enough to be able to knit in black when it's sort of dusk, but I prefer to knit on other stuff because I don't want to be super focused on it. I like to be able to watch some series or something. So as of, or when I finished the lattice sweater, I only have 2 works in progress. My plan is to cast on a new pair of the Gudrun mittens that I knitted November, I think. Well, before Christmas anyway. The one with the female power motif on them. And that is a charted colorwork mitten. So I'm thinking I want to use it on my, or have it on my chart keeper. So I want to finish the Katniss cowl chart, or using that before I cast on those mittens. So that's why I've been working on that. So that is coming up. I will probably, well, yeah, I will probably cast that on this weekend or beginning of next week, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna do just what I feel like. Yeah, So that is what's going on. I didn't buy anything this week. So I don't have any stash enhancement or acquisitions to show you. I've been watching I watch some different video podcasts, and I listen to some different audio podcasts, and I found the Junk Yarn podcast on YouTube, which is a really, really lovely podcast. You should totally check it out. Junk Yarn podcast. And I'm totally blanking on her name. Sorry, let me check it up. I can't speak. And this isn't awkward at all, me just looking down on my phone. Anyway, she is a lovely young lady who talks about knitting, and I can't find her name. I am sorry, but instead of looking for it, I will talk to you. And one thing that hits me when watching her podcast is that in different podcasts that I listen or watch, some of them do this, like my favorite things or something I like a lot, or my favorite not knitting thing, and that always makes me so happy. So I was thinking that, well, why don't I do that as well? So for this week, I believe I have 3 things that are sort of my favorite of this week. And one is the one that I mentioned, our new choir, that I have a really good feeling about, and I love singing in a choir so much. I thought about it the other night. If I had to choose between knitting or singing in a choir, like I couldn't do one of them ever again, I honestly don't know what I would choose. And that thought of having to make that choice is not good. Not good. I love singing in a choir. So, yeah, I really missed it, and we started again this week, and it could have been not awesome, but it was, so that was really, really good. So that is one of my favorite things this week. Another one is, I've told you about that I'm taking this class. Let me just look at the battery. Okay. I've talked about me taking this class on Coursera, which is an online portal which hosts different online classes from different universities or colleges. I don't know exactly, but yeah. And it's really, really good, and it's very interesting. And right now I'm taking a class on everyday creativity, and I'm liking it a lot. And there has been quite a few surveys on different things, and then they are anonymous, so you fill out, like you always do, like the actual questions of the survey, and then the last page or the last part of the survey is sort of demographic, where do you live, check the box of your age, your gender, and in all of those surveys that has been in that demographic section has always been the question, how do you feel today? And then there is a 5 degree scale from, like, I don't know, awesome, good, okay, bad, lousy, something like that. And I love that so much, that these people who work with creativity, it's just so natural to them that your view might differ depending on how you feel that day. And that makes me just so happy that they have taken that into consideration. So that is really good. The third thing that I'm really, really excited about this week is we sort of have spring now. We had some snow the other day, I don't remember which day. It went away again. When the sun is out, it actually warms. You can actually feel the warmth of it, even though the air is cold. And we will have, I'm sure there will be more snow, but we actually do have spring now. And so last night I picked a few flowers. And I just realized just now that maybe I should look up what these are called in English. In Swedish they are snödroppar, which means like snow drips. They usually, they don't wait for the snow to go away. When they think it's time for spring, they will pop through the snow, if it's not deep, because they are just like not very high. They will pop through the snow and start blooming in the snow, if the snow doesn't take the hint. And that is just amazing. Spring is in the air and I love it. And I know, well, most of you guys are in America, and I know that a lot of you guys had like insane insane amounts of snow in the last few days, and I'm sorry for you. And I don't mean to be like gloating or anything, but I'm really enjoying the weather right now. Yay! So those are my three, well, I have more favorite things of course, but those are the three that I want to share with you this week. And of course, always tea. Okay, so someone asked me to talk a little bit about what crafts I do or like, or yeah. Knitting, of course. Well, in Sweden, in our like school system, we have we have crafts like a subject in school, or at least we had when I was a kid. I actually don't know what it's like today. I think it's still the same. So there was two parts of craft. So one is like wood work, wood chop, wood and metal. And one is like sewing, mostly, but it's like textile. Mostly sewing and then some knitting and other stuff as well. And as my mom is very textile. She knits, she sews, she crochets, she does embroideries and cross stitch and stuff. So I had learned a lot of the textile crafts from home. And I was no expert, but I knew some of it. And the textile teachers that I had, they couldn't really take that. And sometimes, I would do in one way and they would teach another technique. And I understand that maybe they have, like, in their plan that this is the techniques that they will be teaching. But they would be like, no, you can't do that, you have to do like this. And I was like, but this works just fine. They could have talked to me in a different way, So I never got along with those teachers. So all the kids had to do both for like a certain amount of time, and then you could choose. So I always choose to do the woodwork because I really, really enjoyed that. So I've done some of that, but I don't do any of that now because I don't have the space or the, what do you say? I totally lost the word. Ability, probably. But then I learned, I sewed a lot at home. I sewed some clothes that I actually wore like in middle school or something like that. I don't know what it's called, like the Swedish school system compared to the English language and stuff, but when I was 10-ish. So it took, so I have some bad experiences with the textile, but also good experiences because I know I can do a lot of it, but so I do sew, but I really don't, you have to do so much, what do you say, like prep work in sewing. You need to do so much other stuff that won't show, but it won't show it will show if you didn't do it, but if you do it, it won't show, and that is the point. And sometimes I'm a bit, I won't get things done. So I usually, when I sew stuff, I usually fake and fudge a lot of it. But I do sew. I do some embroidery. I did the cross stitch embroidery a couple of weeks back. But knitting is definitely my preferred media of crafts. And some crocheting, and I've spun some yarn, and then, as I said, I don't really do any woodwork, but if necessary, I could probably, I know some of it. One thing that I really wish, that I've always wished that I could do, is to draw or paint. I posted a picture to Instagram the other day of a drawing of an English countryside landscape motif that my dad did. I didn't write anything on it, maybe I should have done. My dad is such an amazing drawer. Do you say that? He draws these amazing landscapes, or he used to do that. When I was a kid, we used to have a lot of not paintings, but pictures up in the TV or in the, what do you say, living room? And then he didn't do it, I think, for many years, and now he has gone down in like work hours because he is old enough to do that. So I gifted him for his birthday. I gifted him a sketch block or pad maybe, and some pencils, because I think that he should start at that again, because he is really amazing at that and I'm really not. Which is fine, but that is something that I always wished that I would be good at, and I've really tried, and that's just not my thing. Which is fine, because I know I'm good at other stuff, but yeah, that is something that I wish I could do. And then there is always, wishing you would be better at stuff that you are okay at, but yeah, I would say that knitting is my main craft outlet. I do most of the textile stuff, and I mean, I consider myself to be a very creative person, and I would probably test, if I had the opportunity, I would probably test most crafts. And of course there are skills to every, unique skills to every craft that you need to learn, and I might not know them words. I might not know those specific skills, but I do think that I would, be sort of okay in most crafts, because I think I think some people who are not that crafty or creative don't really see the logic that goes into how to create something, and I think that us knitters who are more creative, we might have a better view of seeing how it's done, even if we haven't actually done it, and we might not be good at the actual skills, but I think we might sort of know how to. Or does that just sound cocky? I hope not. But yeah, knitting is my main thing, but I do some other crafts as well. But it's knitting that is really my main interest and hobby, and something that I do every day. Last week, no, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was over at friends it was a Saturday, and I was over at friends playing board games, having a really good time in the evening. And I just realized I haven't knit a single stitch today. Which happens sometimes. It's very unusual, but it happens sometimes. But those days I usually crochet or spin or do something. But that day I hadn't done anything. I hadn't touched yarn that day. And I was like, this feels weird. That doesn't happen. Maybe that happens once a year. Maybe. So that was weird. Because that is something that I just I mean, I need knitting in the same way I need food and tea. Almost, anyway. So yeah, I do some other crafts as well, even though, yeah. I've said it, knitting is my main. And the battery starts to blink. But I really don't have much more to say. My plan is to, well, finish the first sock, cast on the second sock, probably finish the Katniss cowl, and cast on a pair of mittens. That is my crafty plan for the week ahead. So yeah, thank you guys for all the love on the finished object photo of the Lado sweater on Instagram, by the way. That is the most liked and most commented picture on my account so far. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the love and feedback in other photos, and here the thumbs up here on YouTube, and yeah. Thank you. And as I've said, well, 30 plus times now, I suppose, don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you want to get in touch with me. You can comment on YouTube, or you can PM me on Ravelry, or you can use the group, and you can talk to me on my Instagram pictures. You know how that works. So please do that if you want to. Like and subscribe if you want to. And that's it. I hope you have an awesome weekend and week ahead, and that you take care of yourselves. And for you who are in the snow, wear a lot of hand knits, wear wool, that's what it's for. And be kind to yourselves and to one another, and have a good time.